So the real gray man wears reversible clothing. Most of the channels and the tactical groups and companies, what they try to do is sell you a tactical backpack and a tactical hoodie, and those two items in combination can be $600 to $1,000. And what that does is actually makes you a target, not a gray man. Because if you think about it, how many people walk into the shopping center, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, with a backpack? So if somebody is following you or putting you under surveillance, if 10% of the population has a backpack, that makes it much easier to spot you. And all of these backpacks they're selling you have traits and identifying markings, logos, and styling that makes it easy to pick you out of a crowd. Now, what you can do is dress as a normal human being, but use reversible clothing. Because being a gray man is a tactic. And what that tactic is used for is counter surveillance, it's used for surveillance, and it's also used for acquisition of materials, conducting dead drops, things like that. So for instance, if you're under surveillance or you're surveilling someone, you may want to alter your appearance. The best way to do that is to use reversible clothing. So what you come to find out is there are certain types of hats, mostly skull caps. There are a few ball caps, but they're hideously expensive, and you could actually make your own ball cap. But for instance, with this ensemble, which you can find at a normal clothing, with this ensemble that you can find at a normal clothing store, you can reverse it, change the appearance that you have. And what you've done is you've gone from a person with a blue hat and a maroon jacket and altered that description they're looking for to a blue jacket or sweater and a black hat. Now, doing this with commercially made items, they're rare, but they're easy to find. So for instance, this outfit, this top, it's a quarter zip. It is a Tommy Bahama outfit. So the main downside with this one is it uses thread from one of the sizes, and it shows up on the other side, but it only shows up at close range. Now with this hat, when you reverse it, you need to make sure that you conceal all of the color. And what we'll do later in the video is I'll show you details on these different items, and I'll also show you how to make them. So where I get my gray man stuff is on eBay and secondhand shops. So with Tommy Bahama, their current production, they will do like a light blue and a dark blue, and that doesn't give you enough contrast that you actually can use it for gray man operations. This one, where you have burgundy and blue, and I'll show you several others, that gives you a way to actually change your appearance in a cost-effective manner. Now, you don't want to go to Tommy Bahama and buy this stuff directly. You can get it on eBay for $15 to $20 in barely used or unused condition. The second issue here is if you're like me and you wear larger sizes, you can't get that from Tommy Bahama in the various stores that sell that brand. You would have to get it directly from their website. So if you wear 2X, 3X, 4X, or the in-between sizes like 3XB, 2XB, and 4XB, you would have to obtain that directly from the Tommy Bahama website. And like I said, there's plenty of this material on eBay, and also in secondhand stores you can walk in and buy it for pennies on the dollar. Now, you want the older versions of this that have a lot of contrast between colors, because like I said, the newer production, what you're going to find is it'll be light tan, dark tan, brown and tan, light and dark blue, instead of a big contrast. I have some that are like purple and brown. And then when we talk about these hats, this is one style. This is from Amazon. These are made in China, and what you'll find is they're only $5 or $6 a piece delivered to your house. Now the downside to this is most of these are a color choice, and then they have a black inside. But if you make it yourself, you can adapt that, and you can make a red-blue hat instead of a blue-black hat. So what we'll do is we'll go inside and we'll look at some other options. So here we have another option that's based on local customs and conditions. I live approximately an hour to an hour and a half from 3 large cities. The Tommy Bahama outfit I showed you would blend in there really well. In my local area here, if I was going to enter a store and alter my appearance, the hunting camo is very common, and this is actually a two-sided hunting outfit. Now this one, you reverse it and you get brown, and what makes this ideal is it passes as a coat because it has pockets on both sides, and that's what you're looking for in a coat that is two-sided. And then here we have another version of a two-sided hat that's available on Amazon, and we have altered our appearance. Now what's important here is that you be able to alter your appearance very easily without carrying additional clothing. If you carry additional clothing, if you carry a backpack, you're giving off target indicators, you're leaving behind DNA, you're leaving behind evidence. If you need to carry a lot of material, I would use a pullover like the Tommy Bahama I showed you, and you could put a fisherman's vest on and put your items in that, put your Tommy Bahama over it, that's one size larger, and you just look like a fat dude. So these are ways to hide who you are as you're moving through non-permissive environments. Now what we're going to do is look at some individual clothing items, and you can get an idea of how to make this stuff. Now the first thing I want to talk about is thread. You can get clear monofilament thread that is thinner than fishing line, and you can use this, and that way you don't have this effect where you have color bleed on the other side. So when you're making gear, you can buy different thicknesses and different quantities of clear monofilament thread. That way when you're sewing stuff, you don't leave any trace of the other color on the other side. This is a regular one you can get almost anywhere. It's made by Singer. This one is from Amazon. This is a larger quantity if you're making a lot of materials for a group, or you're doing it as a production op. Now we're going to start with hats. This is the best design if you're going to make them yourself. So basically what you can do is take two different color hats, and I would use as much difference in contrast as you can, where this may be red and this would be blue, and you do one seam here, and it needs to be a butt seam, and I would probably use a zigzag stitch to do it that is very, very narrow, because what you want to be able to do is turn this inside out and have just a tiny amount or no amount of color bleed. Now, when you're changing these, you should go into a restroom, a dressing room, or something like that in the facility that you're doing your escape and evasion, or you're doing your dead drop in, and make sure no color showing, because in the previous scenes you could see I didn't quite get it right with this one. So in here, like I said, you can buy 2 of these, and the thinner they are the better, and sew them together. Now they have 20 different colors of this hat on Amazon, but they all have a black interior. So you could actually buy a couple of these and carry an additional color in your pocket, because they're very thin. But what you want to do is make sure you don't leave any material behind. Now this one would be difficult to duplicate because it is printed. So the way that you get the brim on it is they actually went in here and they printed the stripes in it. But you could actually go in here if you want and cut 2 strips and sew it. But I don't think this is worth the effort to do it yourself. In addition, it's harder to hide this and get it perfect. So you would definitely need to go somewhere where you can look at the hat and turn it inside out and make sure that your other color's not showing. So if you're going to make it yourself, I would do this design. Now, when we're looking at Tommy Bahama, what I found is some years the sizes ran a little small, because in the 2X, 3X, 4X, they are more likely to have a fitted garment. And what they do is offer the in-between size. So they will go 1X, 1XB, 2X, 2XB, 3X, 3XB, and on. And what that does is the XB size gives you 2 inches more in the chest. In an otherwise garment, that's the same as a 2X. Now, they also offer this in talls. And as I said before, if you go a size bigger, especially an XB, you can wear a fisherman vest underneath and carry stuff in it, and it wouldn't give you away because you can wear this loose. Now, you can see this one has good contrast because it's purple and blue. And then we have another example here of blue and brown. And see, that way we're getting a lot of difference in the colors. Now, this is one I bought that is a 4X, and I use this one to go over top of a sweater. You could put it over top a ballistic vest. For instance, if you're going to use a 3A vest that's normally concealable, you can put this over it. You can put this over a fisherman's vest. Now, the good thing about the Tommy Bahama is they have removable labels. That way, when you reverse this, you don't have an issue with the label showing. So what they do is this rips out, and then you can go back and you can rip out the other piece of the tag. And once you clean that up and wash it, you have no tags. Now, what they do have is labeling and trademarks on here. So the good thing is they're kind of subdued and you only see them at close range. Now, when you're doing E&E work, a lot of times what gives you away are the children and the teenagers. Children and teenagers are much more likely to detect and notice differences in clothing, footwear, that kind of thing. So the thing that's really hard to get in a reversible pattern is pants. So you can take sweatpants and sweatshirts and make your own gear. So what you would do is get the lightest weight sweatpants you can, and you're going to cut them so they're the same size. And what you would do is line them up so they're dead even, and then you would sew this with your clear thread. And if you utilize existing stitching to sew through, you can permanently fix the inner liner by going up the seams. Now, the important thing about this is when you make these, you need to turn the inside garment so that the outside is inside. And then you'll sew it up, and see with these sweatpants, I have pockets on both sides. So if I turn this inside out, I'm going to have a pocket here, and I got a pocket here. And what that does is that is an indicator where people will see that your garments have pockets on both the inside and outside, and that helps hide you. Because you don't want to have something that looks like the interior of a garment turned inside out, because that's a dead giveaway. But like I said, you can put sweatpants together. You can take a pair of tan work pants and sew a very light pair of blue jeans inside that. And this is something easy you can do. You can manufacture as many of these as you want for your survival group. And you can do this as a home workshop project in your homestay workshop. Now, I want to stress with backpacks, backpacks bring attention from loss prevention. So if you're in a mall, you're in a store, and you're trying to do your E&E, that is going to attract attention. So you do not want to carry a backpack in non-permissive environments. That's a dead giveaway. The other thing is, when I wore construction clothing, safety vests, anything like that, the loss prevention would follow me around in Walmart. So in some areas of the country, if you dress as a construction worker or you carry a backpack, you're going to be put under surveillance, both video and in person, by the store security or the mall security. So those are things to keep in mind. Buy your gear on eBay, secondhand stores, make your own. Don't buy the designer backpacks and hoodies from the clowns. Share your thoughts. We'll see you on the next video.